I was 69 years old, alone in a cold apartment in Ohio, doing the math on how many days it would take someone to find my body after I died. What I didn't know then was that halfway across the world, on a small island called Cebu, strangers I had never met were about to become the family my own blood never managed to be. This is the story of how losing everything in America became the reason I finally started living. Oh, sweetheart, come sit closer. I'll speak softly because my voice still shakes when I remember those years. Just listen and don't pity me too much. I already survived it. But this story needs to break your heart a little. Otherwise, what's the point of telling it? Let me start from the very bottom, from the darkness I almost dissolved into. I was 69 when I understood that no one in America was waiting for me anymore. My husband left 3 years earlier. He didn't die a noble death, didn't even say goodbye. He just packed his things in silence and moved in with a woman 20 years younger than me. He left me an apartment with an overdue mortgage, an old Ford that stalled at every red light, and a pension of $1,200 a month. After 40 years on a factory line, assembling refrigerators until my fingers ached, until the noise took my hearing, Social Security plus a tiny corporate pension. $700 went to housing, $200 to insurance, $150 for heart, blood pressure, and joint medication. My joints already creaking like rusted hinges by then. What was left was $300 for food, electricity, water, gas, sometimes less. Winters in Ohio were like a slow death. Snow buried the yard up to my waist. I shoveled the path myself because I had no money to pay a neighbor. Afterward, my hands hurt so badly I couldn't hold a spoon. The doctor would say, "Mary, you need warmth, movement, fresh vegetables." And where was I supposed to get those when I stood in front of the chicken at the store doing math? Buy it today, and that means 3 days without meat at the end of the month. I ate beans, pasta, sometimes bread with butter if it hadn't gone rancid yet. My children rarely called. My son from California, "Mom, I've got a mortgage, 2 kids, I can barely make ends meet myself." My daughter from Texas would cry into the phone and send $50 for a little something. I never asked for more. Pride was the last thing I had left. And then even that began to crack. The hardest part wasn't the hunger. The hardest part was the silence. Neighbors changed every 6 months. Old friends died or moved away to be with their own families. I would sit by the window and watch the cars go by thinking, if I die tonight, who finds me? In a week? A month? When the smell finally becomes impossible to ignore? I would picture social services carrying my things out in bags and the apartment being rented to someone new who wouldn't even learn my name. Sometimes at night, I cried so quietly the walls wouldn't hear. I cried from shame, from fear, from the thought that a life I had lived honestly would end alone, in the cold. One day at the pharmacy, waiting in line for my pills, a free newspaper landed in my hands. There was an article about a woman who had moved to the Philippines. She wrote about a house with a garden, fresh fruit, about how the same pension that barely kept you alive in America could let you actually live there. At first I brushed it off. The Philippines, heat, poverty, who knows what's really there? But that night the article wouldn't let me sleep. I went to the library, the only place with free internet, and started reading. Expat forums, stories of people who had also hit rock bottom in America and suddenly came back to life. I read about the barangay, about neighbors helping each other, about strangers' smiles, about how the elderly there weren't thrown away like garbage. And something inside me stirred. It took me a month to gather the courage. I sold the car for $3,000, sold the furniture, the rugs, even the old photo albums, kept only 2 suitcases and a stack of letters from my kids. My son shouted into the phone, "Have you lost your mind? You're 70. You'll die there alone." My daughter sobbed, and for the first time in years, what I felt wasn't fear, it was rage. Rage at this country that took my health, my husband, my dignity, and left me with shame. I bought the cheapest ticket to Manila with 2 layovers. At the Chicago airport, I stood there with the ticket shaking in my hands, thinking, if the plane goes down, well, that's an ending too. Better to fall than to slowly fade away in my own apartment. 20 hours in the air, I barely slept. I watched the clouds and imagined how I'd be received. Cold, hostile. Would people laugh at an old white woman with 2 suitcases? When the plane began its descent over Manila, I saw a sea of lights, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something other than emptiness, something that resembled hope. But that hope was fragile. The heat hit my face like an open oven the moment I stepped off the plane. The smell of food, gasoline, flowers, human warmth. I stood there lost, weighed down by heavy bags, and suddenly a young man walked up to me. "Ma'am, help you?" he asked. Out of habit, I flinched. In America, we're taught to be afraid. But he smiled so simply, so openly, that I nodded. He carried my things, showed me where the bus was, refused any money. "Welcome to Philippines, ma'am." I repeated those words to myself for months afterward, on the nights when the loneliness hit hardest. Those first days in Cebu felt like a dream after a long nightmare. I rented a room in a small guest house for $15. The owner, Lorna, round, warm-eyed, sat me down at her table right away. Rice, fish, vegetables. "Eat, ma'am, you thin." I ate and cried right into my plate, because for the first time in years, someone was feeding me, not out of pity, but simply because that's what you do. Lorna rubbed my shoulder and said, "You safe here. We take care." Her kids peeked into the room, smiled, brought me mangoes. I handed out the candy I'd brought from America and watched their eyes light up. In that moment, I understood. Here, I wasn't a burden. Here, I was a person. A week later, I found a house, small, with a terrace and a tiny garden, $300 a month. The landlord, an elderly man named Roberto, helped me move my things himself on his little motorbike with a cart attached. When I tried to pay him extra, he just waved his hands. "No, ma'am, you guessed. Later, you help someone else." Those words settled deeper than any sermon. In America, I had been a number in a system. Here, a guest. And for the first time in a very long while, I fell asleep not with fear, but with quiet gratitude. I didn't know yet how much this country was about to lift me up off my knees, how neighbors would become family, how one day I would feed not just myself, but everyone around me, how Filipino kindness, the kind you can't buy and can't fake, would give back what America had taken from me, the feeling that someone still needed me. But that's the next part of the story. For now, I just sat on my terrace under the palm trees, listening to the distant laughter of children from the barangay, and I cried. This time, from relief and from shame that it took me so long to understand. Real wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in people who can share their last handful of rice and still smile like they have everything. The first months in that little house on the edge of Cebu were both a miracle and torture. The heat knocked me flat. Used to the dry cold of Ohio, I woke up in the middle of the night soaked through, my heart pounding like it wanted to leap out of my chest. There was no air conditioning, too expensive. I'd switch on the old fan, groaning like a tractor, and lie there staring at the ceiling, thinking, what have I done? I'm going to die here from the heat, and no one will even notice. My joints ached worse than they had in America. The medication I'd brought was running out, and the local kind frightened me. I was afraid of counterfeits, afraid of being cheated. I barely went outside, only to the market once every few days. People stared, not unkindly, curiously. Children whispered, "Americana." Women looked at my pale hands, my gray hair, at how slowly I hobbled between the stalls, leaning on my cane. I bought the cheapest things, rice, dried fish, bananas. Sometimes I forgot the words I'd already learned and just pointed. The vendors smiled, nodded, sometimes slipped an extra tomato or a bunch of greens into my bag. I tried to refuse, but they shook their heads. "For you, ma'am, you alone." Those words hit harder than any blow. I was alone, yes, and they could see it. One day I fell, just fell, in the middle of the street on my way back from the market. My head spun, my legs gave out, my bags scattered everywhere. Rice spilled into the dust. I lay there thinking, this is it. Someone will rob me now, take what little money I have, and no one will help. But instead, people gathered around me. A young man on a motorbike stopped and helped me up. A woman with a baby in her arms grabbed my scattered bags. An old man brought me water in a plastic cup. And then Alma appeared, my neighbor. Thin, tired eyes, mother of 4. She lived 2 houses down in a tiny shack made of plywood and tin. Alma practically carried me under the arms, walked me home, laid me down on the bed, and stayed. She sat beside me until I stopped shaking. Then she brought rice porridge, the same kind she cooked for her own children. "Eat, Lola Mary, you weak." She called me Lola, grandmother. I broke down crying so hard it scared her. She hugged me, stroked my hair like I was a child, and whispered, okay na, we here." From that day on, Alma came every single day, sometimes with a plate of food, sometimes just to sit with me. Her children, 2 boys and 2 girls, started running over after school. They taught me Bisaya words, laughed at my accent, showed me how to eat properly with my hands. The youngest, 6-year-old June, once brought me a drawing, a house, palm trees, and me, a round, smiling white woman. He'd scrawled underneath, crooked letters, Lola Mary. I hung that drawing on my wall and looked at it every evening on the nights loneliness hit the hardest. And then came the thing that finally broke through my American armor. I ran out of money for my medication. My heart was acting up, my blood pressure spiking. I lay in bed thinking I was about to die, and that it would be fair, punishment for abandoning my children, for leaving. Alma came, saw the state I was in, and disappeared. An hour later, she came back with an entire delegation. The barangay captain, a young man named Carlo, 2 neighbor men, and a nurse from the local clinic. They'd brought medicine. Carlo said, "Ma'am, we collect for you. Small, but enough." I stared at those pills and couldn't believe it. People who barely had enough rice for themselves had pooled money for medicine for a stranger, an old woman who wasn't even theirs. I tried to give them the last dollars I'd been hiding for a rainy day. They refused. Carlo just shook his head. "You part of Barangay now. We take care our own." That night I cried until I had nothing left. Cried from shame. In America, I had mattered to no one, not even my own family. And here, in a country so many back home called poor, I had been welcomed as one of their own. Cried from gratitude and from rage at a system that had thrown me out like a broken part. I remembered how in Ohio, the neighbors didn't even know my name, how a social worker would drop by once a year for 5 minutes and check a box. And here, people whose roofs leaked in the rain shared their very last. I started going out more. I walked to the market without fear now. I learned to smile back. I helped Alma with the kids when she went to work. Sometimes I cooked American dishes, simple ones, made from whatever I had, and invited the neighbors over. They tried it cautiously at first, then smiled and said, "Masarap, Lola," delicious. Those 2 words meant more to me than any praise I'd ever received. But the pain didn't disappear overnight. Some nights I still woke up in a cold sweat, thinking all of this was a dream, and I was about to wake up in my empty apartment in Ohio. Sometimes I called my daughter. She'd cry, "Mom, come back, we'll figure something out." I would listen and say nothing, because I already knew there was nothing to go back to. There, only a slow, lonely death waited for me. Here, life. Hard, hot, poor, but real. One evening, sitting on my terrace, I watched Elma and her children hauling water from the shared well. The buckets were heavy. I got up, took my old cane, and went to help. Elma tried to wave me off, but I insisted. We walked slowly. I could barely carry my share, but I carried it. And in that moment, I understood I wasn't only taking anymore. I was starting to give. Small, weak, but giving. That was only the beginning. I didn't know yet that in a year I'd be feeding not one family, but nearly the whole barangay. That my pension, the one people laughed at back in America, would become a source of real power here. That Filipinos would teach me something an entire wealthy country never could: how to be human among other humans. But that comes later. For now, I simply walked with a bucket of water beside Alma and her children, and for the first time in a very long while, I felt like I wasn't alone. Like this country I had once feared was already holding my hand. Almost a year passed. I no longer fell in the street. I could walk to the market and back on my own, leaning on my cane. Alma and her children had become my real family. June only ever called me Lola Mary and came running every evening to tell me about school. The oldest girl, Rose, helped me with my Bisaya. And Alma would sometimes just sit beside me in silence on the days it got especially hard. She knew that I still woke some nights calling for my husband, long gone. Knew that I cried, remembering a son and daughter who called less and less. And she never said, "Don't cry." She just stayed. In America, people pay therapists a fortune for that kind of just being there. Here, It was given freely from the heart. But my body kept failing me. One night my heart seized so badly I couldn't breathe. I crawled toward the door, pounding on the wall that separated my house from Alma's. She heard me, came running barefoot in her nightgown, children in her arms. Then Carlo, the barangay captain, appeared. Then the nurse from the clinic. They took me to the small hospital. I lay on the hard cot thinking, this is the end. I'll die in a foreign country, and my kids won't even make it here in time. But once again, people gathered around me. Not doctors, just ordinary people. Women from the barangay brought food for Alma and the children waiting in the hallway. Men stood guard outside so I wouldn't be alone. Carlo paid part of the bill himself out of the barangay's shared fund. When I tried to protest, he just said firmly, "Lola, you already pay. You live here. You are responsibility." I survived. The doctor said a little longer and it would have been over. He prescribed new medication, rest, less stress. I went home weaker than before. And that's when something happened that still catches in my throat to this day. Alma arrived in the morning with a huge pot. Behind her walked 3 more women from the barangay. They brought food, water, clean clothes. And then they started cleaning my house, washing the floors, doing the laundry, cooking. I sat on my bed and watched strangers do for me what no one, not even my own family, had ever done. When they finished, Alma sat beside me and said quietly, "Lola, now you rest. We take care. Later, you take care us." I cried so hard it frightened them. I hugged her. I hugged all of them. And I understood. I wasn't a guest anymore. I was part of this place. From that day, everything changed. I started giving. Little by little at first. I'd buy extra rice at the market and bring it to families whose children went hungry. I helped Rose with her English. She dreamed of becoming a nurse. I watched over toddlers while their mothers worked. Sometimes I'd cook big pots of soup from whatever I could afford and call out to anyone passing by. First 2 or 3 people would come, then 5, then 10. People brought their own plates, sat on my terrace, ate, talked, laughed, cried, told me their troubles. I listened. And for the first time in my whole life, I felt like my existence actually meant something. But it hurt too. It hurt a lot. Some nights I remembered my empty apartment in Ohio, the cold, the silence, and I'd think, why here, in a poor country, did I find what I could never find at home? Why were people whose roofs leaked, who ate once a day, kinder than people living in big houses with 2 cars in the driveway? I was angry at America, angry at myself, angry at my children who never once came to visit. My son wrote once, "Mom, we can't. We've got our own problems." I answered simply, "I understand." And I stopped writing first after that. Then the typhoon came, a strong one. Roofs tore off, streets flooded. My house held, but Alma's didn't. The water rose almost to her waist. They came running to me in the middle of the night, soaked, shaking, children in their arms. I opened the door and said only, "Come in. This is your home, too." We all slept together on the floor. I gave them my blankets, my food, what little strength I had left. In the morning, once the water had gone down a bit, the whole barangay came out to help. Men fixed roofs. Women cooked over shared fires. Children carried water. I sat among them, handing out whatever I'd managed to buy before the storm hit. Watching these people, exhausted, poor, but unbroken, lift each other back up. And in that moment, I felt such pride for them that I cried again. Not out of pity this time, out of admiration. That's real strength right there. Not in money, not in skyscrapers, in one person reaching out a hand to another, even while barely able to stand themselves. After the typhoon, I couldn't stop anymore. My pension, the one people laughed at in America, turned into something miraculous here. I started buying more rice, more fish, more vegetables, cooking almost every day. People came not just to eat, they came to talk, to sit, just to be near someone. The barangay captain, Carlo, told me once, "Lola Mary, you feed the barangay now, not just food, you feed hope." I just nodded at the time, but something turned over inside me. I still wasn't ready for what was coming next, for how completely this country would make me its own. For the day I'd understand that I could do more than just survive, I could give life to others. But that's the last part of the story. For now, I sat on my terrace after the typhoon, watching people repair their homes, and thought, thank you. Thank you for teaching me how to live again. And for the first time in years, I said those words out loud, in Bisaya, quietly but firm. Salamat, Pilipinas. More than 2 years have passed since I stepped onto Filipino soil with 2 suitcases and a hole where my heart used to be. I'm not that frightened old woman shaking in the Manila airport anymore. Now the whole barangay knows me. Children run after me shouting, "Lola Mary, Lola Mary." Women hug me when we meet. Men tip their hats and smile. And me, every day I cook. Not for myself, for them. My pension, those same $1,200 that barely kept me afloat in America, has become power here. I buy sacks of rice, fresh fish in the morning, vegetables, sometimes chicken. I cook enormous pots, adobo, sinigang, plain rice with stewed meat, soup made from whatever's on hand. By lunchtime, people gather on my terrace. First 10, then 15, then 20. Old people with no children nearby come. Mothers with babies come. People who lost their jobs after the typhoon come. I never ask who can pay how much. I just put the food out. They eat, they talk, they laugh, sometimes they cry, and I sit beside them and watch. And something inside me still aches at how simple this is here, and how impossible it was in the life I left behind. One day a woman came, thin, eyes swollen. Her name was Ellen. Her husband had died of an illness they couldn't afford to treat. She was left with 3 children. She stood at the gate, silent. I called her over, sat her down, fed her. The children ate like it was their first meal in a week. Ellen cried and whispered, "Salamat, Lola, salamat." I hugged her and said the same words Elma once said to me, "You safe here, we take care." From that day, Ellen comes almost every day. Sometimes she helps me cook, sometimes she just sits. And I look at her and see myself, the woman who once sat in a cold apartment in Ohio, waiting to be found dead. There are still days that are especially hard. My heart reminds me it's there. My feet swell. At night, I wake up thinking about my son and daughter. They never came to visit. They rarely write. Once my son sent a message, "Mom, we're proud of you for making it work." I read it and stared at the wall for a long time, proud, but not able to visit. In America, everyone always has their own problems. Here there are problems too, but people carry them together. The hardest day came last winter, though what's winter here, really? Just heavy rain for a week straight. Alma got sick, badly. Fever, coughing, weakness. I took her children in, cooked for them, put them to bed, told them stories in broken Bisaya. And at night I went to Alma, changed her compresses, gave her the medicine I'd bought myself. She held my hand and whispered, "Lola, if I die, take care of my kids." I shook my head. "No, you not die. I not allow." And I sat with her until morning. She survived. When she finally got back on her feet, the first thing she did was hug me and cry. And I cried with her, because in that moment I understood. I'm not taking any more. I'm giving. And that giving heals me more than any pill ever could. Now, every evening when the sun sets behind the palm trees, I sit on my terrace and watch people head home after dinner. Someone carries an extra portion with them. Someone stays to help wash the dishes. The children kiss my cheek and run off. And I think about that woman who used to count coins at the bottom of her purse in a cold American apartment. She's gone. In her place sits someone else, Lola Mary, a woman this country lifted off her knees, fed, warmed, and gave meaning to. Sometimes I hear people say, "The American feeds the whole barangay," and I want to correct them. Not an American, just a woman the Philippines taught how to be human. Taught me what a wealthy country never could, that real wealth is being able to share your last piece and become richer for it. That family isn't only blood. That old age doesn't have to mean loneliness. It can mean warmth. If I could go back and say something to that woman sitting by the window in Ohio, I would say, "Don't be afraid. Across the ocean there are people who will take your hand, even though you're a stranger to them. There's a country that won't ask how much money you have, only whether you're hungry. There are hearts that open just because, simply because that's how it's done there." I still cry when I remember. Cry from the pain of the years I lost. Cry from gratitude. And cry from pride. Pride for these people, for this barangay, for this land that took me in when my own turned its back on me. The Philippines didn't just give me a roof. They gave me a home, a real one where I'm expected, where I'm needed, where I get to feed not just stomachs, but hope. That's the whole story, sweetheart. From rock bottom to this very evening, sitting here telling it to you. I'm still old, still sick some days, still call out at night for people who are no longer here. But now I know, when I go, they won't find me a month later in an empty apartment. I'll be remembered. The children will say, "Lola Mary fed us." And that's more than I ever dared to dream. Thank you for listening. And to them, to those people, to that country, thank you for letting me become alive again.